Warning! The show you are about to hear is not meant for children. If you are pre-puberty or easily butthurt, feel free to go and watch some lame kid videos or what people had for dinner last night. Nothing is off limits and all sacred cows will be promptly barbecued. That is all.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Get ready, people. Unleash the mayhem and let it go. Get ready, people. It's time to start the show. The bald guy in my gut back still lifting nuts and ready to roll. Laugh so hard you'll show yourself and sing simply you don't out your butthole. It's time for the anarchy. It's time for the anarchy. Anarchy Radio. Anarchy Radio. Alright, you fucks, take it away.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever and whenever you are. This is Anarchy Radio, and I am the bald guy. Sitting next to me
Hello, everybody.
is the one,
Moggy in the house.
the only, Mogman. And we're going to be talking some stuff here tonight with Alfred Santariga, the Squatchfather.
I love the name, the Squatchfather.
Isn't that the best? You know,
Dude, I'm sold on the name. The guy could have just, he could, but just the name alone is fantastic.
It's awesome, yeah. And what I kind of wanted to ask him, what I want to ask him, is when we're talking Dogman, right, which I'm sure we will, I also want to ask him about the Mogman.
The
What do you think
Mogman,
about
huh?
that? Yeah, see?
Well, Spaceballs is making a return. Finally, part 2 is coming out, so maybe it's the birth of Mogman.
That's right. I mean, because I think we're missing the boat on that. I mean, there's a huge franchise we can do. I mean, we can do the Mogman Cometh, the Mogman Prophecies,
Return of the Mogman.
Return of the Mogman. How about this one, dude? I think you're gonna like it. Bride of the Mogman.
Ride of the Mogman.
Yes. So what's been going on, dude?
Oh, just being hot and uncomfortable and just hating this time of the year. The dog days of summer, it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
we did get football, which was great. That was nice.
Yeah.
We got a little preseason action, Hall of Fame game.
Yeah.
But man, I'm just miserable, dude. Summer sucks. You get older. I'm 60 years old now, dude. I can't handle heat anymore. I know it's about myself. I can't do it. I can't even take 90 is too much for me.
I know. Isn't that weird that when you're young, 90 and 100-degree weather, yeah, it kind of sucks, especially when we grew up, before the AC, right? I mean, we had fans in the windows or whatever.
Yeah, that was my AC. I had a window fan. And I was lucky to have that.
Right.
Get off my lawn.
Let me ask you this question, dude. Kids of today, Gen Z, whatever, how much do you think they can handle what we had to grow up in?
And what it depends what aspect you're. I mean, entertaining themselves, dude, they'd be bored in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
Kids these
but
days
also
wouldn't
no AC.
Well, they can see. Well, I know my niece at least. She likes it hot, so I don't think that would bother her at all. Do you have an air conditioner in your bedroom? No, I think at least for a 12-year-old, the heat would not bother her.
Hey, put her on camera real quick, dude.
Really?
Yeah, why not? Let's see.
Wait. Can you see her?
Nope.
I don't know why.
It'll be your phantom niece.
No, you know what I should do? I'm sitting here looking at this background picture of me.
Yeah.
We should have a show that's not a show some night, and where it says the bald guy, right?
Sure.
You have your son sitting there, right? But no one addresses it. And then where it says Moggy, I just have Monroe sitting here, and no one's even saying anything, right? It's just like you open the show, and for at least for a show, she's just gonna act like me and look nothing like me. Thank God.
It'll be like Freaky Friday, dude.
Yeah, Freaky Friday show.
Yeah, but
you get Jenna. Get Jenna's got to be the bald guy for the night.
Yeah, she'll do it.
Can she talk though? Is Jenna? Can she talk? Can she hold the conversation?
She's good at it. She can.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll be better than me, dude. She'll put her old man to shame. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I mean, I like the Heat, but my liking the Heat has changed a little bit since I was young. And when I was young, oh yeah, dude, it didn't bother me at all. Nowadays, I like the heat, but I'm afraid to be out in the heat, if that makes sense. It's like, oh, it's good theoretically, but when I'm all hot and sticky at 90 some,
Yeah, yeah. No one's looking to be hot, sweaty,
yeah,
sweating from places you didn't even know could sweat. You know, dude, it was
right,
so hot the other day, my fucking eyelids were sweating, dude.
yeah,
It was like I
yeah,
was crying, man. I'm like, dude, this is way too much, man. Someone, I just want to like, I want to be put into a self-induced coma, the bald guy,
yeah.
just for a month, just for the whole month of August. Wake me up in September.
I kind of like that, dude. Kind of like hibernation.
Yep.
But yeah, hibernation. I have like a internal now thermostat, and that is how I know, how I know if it's too hot or not. Is that if my butt crack goes, then you know it's too hot, right? It's like the butt crack thermostat. If it gets all sweaty and the mercury down there starts rising, dude, off the shorts, you know what's going on, dude. Well, now, what do you say we get to the interview? All right, we are here with Alfred Santariga, investigator, experiencer, researcher, cryptozoologist, and ufologist. He was pretty much embedded in the paranormal right from the womb. Uh, what mother, father, what grandma, aunts, uncles, neighbors down the street, people he saw at fairs, going on, but so, Alfred, hello there.
Hey, Jason, how are you?
I can get off track really quick and just go off.
You know, I feel like we're finally doing some Anarchy Radio. I mean, we're back. We did a show, but
Yeah.
now we're getting into the meat of what we like to talk about here on Anarchy Radio. And Al, the Squatchfather, it's a pleasure to meet you, my friend.
Nice to meet you as well, Mark. Absolutely.
Yeah. Alfred, he also graduated from the Center of Media Arts in NYC with a degree in visual arts, majoring in photography. So we are talking to a scholar.
Well-rounded individual. I mean, they're going to say, like, I mean, this is going to defeat people's whole, like, narrative, right? Where if you see anything that's unexplained or you're nuts, you're just fucking crazy. I mean, clearly Al's not crazy.
No. I talked to him, a couple times on an other older show, and fantastic, man. People are gonna poop their pampers with joy when they see and hear Alfred. Go ahead, dude.
No, I was just gonna. I mean, you've talked to Alfred before. I haven't. The people here for the first time we're introducing them. So how'd you get started in all this? I mean, you came out of the womb kind of ready to go. I mean, what sparked your interest at a young age, and how old were you, Alfred, when you realized that you had the bug?
Well, my mom was a psychic, and I had an aunt who was a white witch and a cousin who was a black witch. And the paranormal was always normal in my family. Seen my first ghost when I was 5, which was my grandmother, came to me after she passed. I was sleeping in her room in her bed with her pillows and blankets, and she came for about a week to tuck me in after she passed. At
Did
10,
she communicate to you, or was it just a visit?
no, she talked to me in Italian. She only spoke Italian. She talked to me in Italian, and I told my mom about it.
Alfred, you're such a good boy. You're
And
gonna
she
use the
said,
hands, right? I'm sure she used the hands because I'm Italian, also, sort of. I mean, I have an Italian last name at least, but
"Okay, no, yeah, she spoke fluent Italian, yeah." And I told my mom, and she's like, "Fine, don't tell your father." And because the funeral parlor was right across the street, and we, back in the old days, they used to have a funeral for like 3 days. You know what I mean? So every night we'd come across the street, they put me to bed, and then I would see my grandmother. At 10, I had my first UFO experience, and at
well, tell
12,
us
I had
about
my
that.
okay. My father had an A-frame garage that faced south and north, and he had a grapevine underneath it. And me and my best friend Richie, we were sky watchers at a young age. and we would be up on the garage roof, and I'd be looking south, he'd be looking north, and we'd be up there with our radio listening to the local rock station. And then at one point, I seen 3 points of light dancing in the sky. So I said, Rich, check this out. Look, and we were looking at it, and it was so high up, they looked like they were stars, way above the air traffic coming out of Manhattan or out of Jersey. And he's like, wow, that's crazy. What is it? And I go, I don't know, but I have an idea. And I jumped off the garage roof and I run into my father's garage, and he had a big flashlight that he used to use when he went crabbing at night. He would put it in the water and the crabs would come right up to the light. So I would climb back up on the roof, and I did like a Morse code, and they stopped dancing. And then Richie's like, let me try. And he did a Morse code, and they did a Morse code back. And then I did it again, and I did a Morse code, and one of the three just dropped straight down from as high as a star to just above the air traffic coming out of the city. And when it dropped down to that point, we both freaked out and jumped off the roof and ran into because he was sleeping over my house during the summer. And we ran into my room and we slept under the bed that night because
Nah.
we didn't want to be abducted by
A,
aliens,
a couple tough boys from New York hiding under the bed,
Yeah, hey man,
right in
you
front of your grandma too, Al.
can't fight with
Al, you
aliens,
get out from under that bed. I didn't raise you like that. I'll
And
smack you.
in the morning, when my father came into the room to wake us up, and he didn't see us, he picked up the bed and seen us, and he just yanked us both out by our ankles. He's like, "What the hell are you doing under the bed?" And we told him, he's like, "Oh, don't start with that nonsense." And but and then after that, I started having nosebleeds, and I started sleepwalking. And at one point, I was walking through the living room, my mother and father up watching Johnny Carson. And I'm walking through the living room and I'm taking like really high steps, like I'm going up steps. And my father says, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm going home." And he says, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, I'm going home." And he's like, "Where do you live?" I said, "I'm from the moon," I told him. And he said, "Oh, okay." And he turned me around, kicked me in the ass. He sent me back in the bedroom. And I didn't remember anything the next day when he told me. I was like, "What?" I thought he was making it up. And my mother's like, "No, you were sleepwalking last night." And as far as the nosebleeds go, I was like, I don't understand why I wake up every morning and there's blood all over the pillow and all over the wall. And he's like, "Oh, it's because you don't stay still at night. You smack your face against the wall and you get a nosebleed." I just took him at what he said. I said, "Okay," but I was an Italian kid who just moved out of an all Italian neighborhood into an Irish neighborhood, and I had to fight every single day. That's the other way you get respect from the Irish guys. And I used to get punched in the nose all the time. My nose never bled. I may have got a fat lip or a black eye, but I never got a bloody nose. And that never dawned on me back then. How come I'm not getting bloody noses when I get punched in the nose, but I get a bloody nose while I'm sleeping at night? My brother was one of the first parapsychologists in the United States. So he had like a library of stuff in his room. And as soon as he finished reading it, I would read it. So, yeah, the paranormal was normal in my family. It's just a normal thing.
Fantastic. Now, being originally from New York, hey, when did you get first interested in introduced to Bigfoot? I mean, because obviously it down, by Manhattan, the boroughs and all that. It's it's not rural. you know, how did you get introduced to it?
Yeah, I mean,
1970.
you can't really picture Bigfoot on Fifth Avenue like trying to wave down a cab. You know, he's hanging out in the Central Park, in the brambles or whatever.
Sure.
1974. I was down in South Florida. My cousin Anthony and I would get sent down to South Florida every year to visit my sister. And that's where we first came across the Florida skunk ape. And that's how I got introduced to the Bigfoot. Because, like I had already seen the Patty film, and growing up in my family, like me and all my cousins, we used to go to the movies every Saturday to see James Bond and
Hey,
stuff
tell
like that.
everyone about the Patty film. Let's not assume everyone just knows what you're talking about. Explain to
Uh,
everyone
the
what the
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just assume everybody knows what I'm talking about. The Patterson Gimlin film, 1967, where they're going across Bluff Creek in Northern California with their
I mean,
16 millimeter.
it is famous footage, though. I mean, if you're into Bigfoot at all, everyone's probably seen that. I just wanted to make sure people knew what we were talking about.
Yeah. So when that footage came out, I seen it it was a trailer at the end of end of a James Bond movie or something. And I remember seeing it and with all my cousins, and it was like 10 of us. And I remember saying, wow, that's real. That thing is real. That's not a man in a suit. And from the moment I seen it, I always believed it. And, but I always thought that the Bigfoots were in the Pacific Northwest. I didn't think they were down in Florida, until I had that experience down there in 1974. And, once you, and I'll be honest, for at least 2 years, I had PTSD because it was such a scary event, and it was just such a larger than life creature. And when you see something like that, I tell people all the time who always say, "Oh, I want to see it." I was like, when you see something like that up close and personal, your brain cannot comprehend what your eyes are seeing because monsters are not supposed to exist. And then you have this 8 foot, 9 foot 1,500 pound monster standing in front of you, looking down at you, and you're just in awe of its size. It's just massive, and it's mind-boggling. It truly is mind-boggling.
So for the naysayers out there, Anthony, we are talking, of course, to Al. I meant, my bad. I apologize for that. The Squatchfather,
Yeah.
talking everything paranormal, aliens, UFOs, and right now we're talking about Bigfoot.
Anything squatchy.
But for the naysayers out there that will say, well, if they're out there, how come they're so? I mean, are they just really good at hiding? How come no one's ever captured? I mean, we have some video. We have that 6 second video, but how come we don't have, with all the trail cameras nowadays and drones and satellite footage? For the naysayers, Al, how come we don't have a 100% inconquerable proof of Sasquatch or Bigfoot?
We do. There's plenty of proof out there. Unfortunately, the people who have it don't want to put it out because they're afraid of being ridiculed. But
So what do you think? What do you think that's out there that we haven't seen yet?
oh, there's tons of footage out there, video and still shots and everything else. Just tons of it. Believe me, I mean, I've seen tons of um crazy impressive video of these creatures in all
I was going to
different
ask you,
parts
what's
of the
your
country.
number besides your feeling and your belief? What is the number one thing that you've seen where you're like 100% it's real? Like maybe
I
even for
see.
you, you're like, holy shit, this really is real. I mean, is there something that you've seen so far where your butthole puckered and you're like, oh my god?
Yeah, I mean, when I seen it as a 12-year-old kid in South Florida, it blew my mind.
That
Like I
will
said,
do it.
Take a
I
string.
was afraid. I was afraid to sleep in my own bedroom in New York in the middle of the city for 2 years, because I slept in a small room where its thing could have reached right through my picture window and pulled me out because the room was so small. Because my father was a carpenter, and what he did was he turned our front porch, half of the front porch, into a bedroom. And that was my room. So I had a big picture window in there. And this thing could have just with their long arms just reached in and pulled me out. It was more like a prison cell than a bedroom, but it was what it was. And no, I mean I've seen this
That's the thing about
many times.
Sasquatch, right? I mean, they sort of have a human type frame, but they're gangly, right? They got really long arms. And any pictures or videos or any description I've ever seen, they seem like really gangly, like they're almost ape-like with the big long arms.
Yeah, they have a few characteristics that stick out. Some have conical heads, some don't. But the ones here in the Northeast I've seen have conical heads. Their lower legs are shorter than their upper legs. Their arms go down past their knees. So their arms are longer than average, and their lower leg is shorter than average. And it's just, these characteristics stay true to every different kind of Sasquatch there is. And I believe the Sasquatch, the Native Americans up here, believe there are people, call them they call them their own tribe, and every Native American tribe from the East Coast to the West Coast has names for these creatures, and they all, either some have good rapports with them, some have bad rapports with them. Um, Most say they walk between worlds, and I've become very close with the Iroquois tribe up here in the Mid Hudson Valley, New York State, and they believe that they walk between worlds and they're guardians of the woods, and I believe what they believe because they've been dealing with them for thousands of years. So I mean, it's
Well, a
the
lot of time
longer.
I believe that we are so naive as people that if it's something we can't see or explain, it doesn't exist. Okay, and that's just not the way it is.
Well, and also, one of the number one questions has always been, well, if it's real, how come, more people have experienced it? People don't really realize that a mass abundance of available land is. I mean, it's out in the middle of nowhere. Humans don't go into it. We only stay close to our campgrounds and our hiking trails. We don't go out in the middle of nowhere. And I have a sneaking suspicion that if we were to send patrols way out there, yeah, we would walk in and find stuff.
So, Al, I mean, these Sasquatch, these creatures, you think, I mean, immediately from the time they're bred, that they are just expertly at protecting themselves and staying covert, like even the youngsters, right? Because you think they're going to have babies, right? I'm assuming there's a Mrs. Bigfoot as well, right?
Yeah, they live in
Do they mate? Do they
family
mate like
units.
humans, Al?
I believe so. I mean, I've never
You
witnessed
see, the,
any of them
is there
mating,
big
but
is there Bigfoot porn out there on the web somewhere?
I don't know about that. But
Because I would pay
uh,
$9.99 for that. I'm telling you.
And you can guarantee that any Bigfoot porn is going to have the same '70s music going on. Hey, we're out in the middle of the forest. Anyway, that's just
Here comes Bigfoot with a bottle of wine.
that's
But no,
right.
is that a fair assumption though, Al? I mean, their whole species, they've been running for cover like their whole existence, so they got to be just experts at cover and using nature to camouflage themselves and to avoid us ugly humans.
yeah, no, they're definitely they're they know how to camouflage themselves in the woods. I you know I can't tell you how many times people have been out there hunting. I mean, I know so many hunters that say, "Oh, I've never seen one," this, that, and the other thing. But I guarantee you, they were out there hunting, and they at some point in the 30 years that most of my family and friends have been hunting, 30, 40 years, I guarantee you, the one they haven't seen one, but one has been watching them. And because they're waiting. They know what hunters are. They know what
Hey,
the
do you
guns
think
are.
they have bad intentions for us, or do you think they're curious about us as we are about them?
I think there could be young bucks going through a rut kind of thing that may have bad intentions towards us, someone having a bad day. Um, Maybe a young adult who challenged the alpha and got his ass kicked and thrown out of the clan may have a bad attitude towards humans if he comes across one and right after getting his ass kicked. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're the forest, the cuddly forest friends, but
Hey, do you feel like
90.
do they stay in a pack or a clan? Are they a family? Are they
Yeah, it's
will they
their
stay
family
together?
units. Their family units, absolutely.
Uh, Squatchfather. Alfred, take us through your first experience. I mean, because we danced around it a couple times, but it had such a profound mark on you. Tell us a little bit about that first experience.
Okay, 1974, South Florida, little town called Davie, cowboy town, no sidewalks, biggest thing that happened in that town was the rodeo on the 4th of July. My sister has a house out in a location called Sunshine Acres. It's up against the Everglades. So we're on the outskirts of town, a couple of miles on the outskirts of town, up against the Everglades. That particular summer, there was a drought in Florida, South Florida, and the Everglades were on fire. And a lot of the animals were being drawn inland and to get away from the fires. And one particular night, my cousin Anthony and I were up watching wrestling late one night, and all of a sudden, my sister had two canine German shepherds. They started going crazy. We didn't know why at first, and then we smelt the most horrible thing we have ever smelt in our lives. And I grabbed the dogs and put them in the garage so they wouldn't wake up the kids and my brother-in-law. And the following day, we spoke to my sister and my brother-in-law, and we said, yeah, something came by the house last night, smelled like holy hell, and it was the dogs went crazy, and my brother-in-law said, oh, must have been the skunk ape. And we thought, being from New York, we thought he was busting our chops. He was pulling our chains, like what's a skunk ape. And then my sister went on to explain it's the Florida version of Bigfoot. And we're like, oh, get out of here. Everybody knows Bigfoots are in the Pacific Northwest. They're not down in Florida. And then we actually went outside after we did our chores that morning, and we went outside in the afternoon and hung out with the guys from the neighborhood. And we talked to them, and they were like, yeah, when it's hot like this, they come around. Now we had been down there like 3 or 4 years in a row, and it was hot. Every summer seems like it was hot, but this particular summer, like I said, with the fires, the drought and the fires in the Everglades, it was a different kind of feel to the place. And in the beginning, my sister lived in the beginning of the Sunshine Acres, closer towards the road. Now she's living in the back, closer towards the swamps. And so then, we learned the guys in the neighborhood said, yeah, there was like no big deal. They said, yeah, it comes around when it's hot. It's not a big deal. And then a week goes by, and we're going to bed again. It was right after like Don Kirshner's rock concert. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. The TV goes back then. The TV became all staticky and stuff. There was nothing on after that. And we go, and she had a sunroom that faced the driveway. She had a circular driveway with a fountain in the middle. The house was fenced in on 3 sides because of the dogs, but the front was open so people could just pull into the driveway. And my cousin Anthony and I are in bed, and we see this giant shadow go across the wall in front of us. Sensor lights go on outside. We see this giant shadow, and the dogs go ballistic. And I jump up out of the bed, and I grab the dogs and I drag them into the garage because my brother-in-law is an ex-Marine, and he's worked till 12 o'clock, and he's tired. And if we don't shut the dogs up, he's going to kick everybody's ass. So, we're sitting there, and I belly crawl back to the big picture window. We had a big picture window, it was like 4 feet high and 8 feet wide. And I peek out from underneath the shade, and I see this thing standing in the middle of the driveway looking at the picture window. And it does this thing like Incredible Hulk's flex and scream. And I can see canines, and I can see red eyes, and I can see like a red tint to its hair. And it's massive. Its shoulders are 4 feet wide, and it's just massive. And it screamed so loud you could feel it. I thought the window was going to come down, and my cousin wasn't moving. He was just frozen solid in the bed. And then it started to walk around the side of the house where we had a watermelon patch. There was a lot of vacant lots because a lot of homes hadn't been built at the time. And I dragged my cousin out of bed. And I said, come on, we'll go to the bathroom on this side of the house. We'll be able to check it out. And so we're in the bathroom. We have the lights off. The screen is tinted. The window's tinted. The screen is black. We have the lights off, and we're looking at this thing because we knew as soon as it hit the corner, the sensor lights would go on. And as it's walking along the fence, now the fence was 6 foot tall fence, and this thing was head and shoulders above the fence. That's how I get like its height, about 9 feet tall. And stops in the middle of the fence line, reaches down, grabs a wild watermelon, takes a bite, walks, drops the nubs, walks towards the back of the property. We run out the back door and we're in the patio, screened in patio, and we're waiting for it to pass the back corner of the house because we know the lights are going to go on then. And the lights go. And the whole time this thing is walking by us, it's turned looking at us like it can see us, even though everything is pitch black. So it could see us the whole time. It was walking along that fence line. It went to the house behind ours. We had a man-made lake, squatted down, drank some water, and then wandered off into the woods where we used to ride our dirt bikes and have bonfires. And we take horses out on there was like a trail that we would the horse rancher would do tours during the day, and sometimes we would take tours out to make a few dollars for beer money. And so that went on. We told my brother-in-law and my sister about it the next day. You're not going to believe what we've seen. It was a monster. I said, I didn't think monsters were real. This thing is a monster. It's just massive. When I say your brain can't comprehend what your eyes are seeing, your brain just shuts down because it just doesn't know how to take it. And
Well, isn't that why they say that animals and young kids and babies and stuff are more susceptible to be able to see things that they're not supposed to because they don't know any better yet? Like as far as seeing ghosts.
Like the feet.
well, also too that their third eye is wide open when they're first born, and it hasn't been calcified from all the crap that we drink, the fluoride in the water and everything else that they feed us here in this country. But so they're wide open, so they get to see stuff, a lot more stuff than we do as adults. Um, but yeah, so that's how it all started, and then was a. Do you want me to go through the whole story, or is it
Yeah, go for it, man. Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, I
So
missed a lot of it. So if you know, a little
okay.
internet problem. Sorry, I apologize for that here, people.
No. So, all right. So, a couple of nights go by, and it's been pretty quiet. And one night, my brother-in-law comes home from the restaurant, and he used to bring home all the burnt pizzas, and we would eat the burnt pizzas like a midnight snacks. So we're all sitting out on the patio eating a couple of pizzas, and my sister's out there with us. The kids are all asleep, and all of a sudden we hear like what sounds like a 30-30 going off down the street. Bang, 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 bang. So we run to the side of the house where we hear the shots are coming from. And the one thing about Florida, it's so flat, and if there's no houses or anything in the way, you could see for miles. And we can see the muzzle flashes coming from the horse rancher's house. So my brother says, jump on your dirt bikes, go down there, see what's going on. So we jump on our dirt bikes and we ride across half of the lawns that were, people who had nice lawns. We just drove across. We didn't go down the road. We just drove straight across everybody's lawns to get down there as quick as we could. And we get down there, and everybody in the whole neighborhood is out. Everybody's got their lights on, and they're all up around the horse rancher ranch. And one of our best friends was lived there. So he comes out and we're talking to our friend and we're like, what's going on? And he was like, that wild Mustang my father got from Montana or Wyoming or somewhere like that. He's like, he used to have to keep it out in the corral because if he put it in the stall, it would kick and it made all the other horses nervous. He had a Seminole Indian coming every day to work it, to break it. So he had it out in the corral, and this skunk ape snuck up on this horse and grabbed it from its hind quarters. And when he grabbed this horse, and this is what the Native American kind of thinks happened, when they grabbed the horse by its hind quarters, the horse kicked out, jumped the corral, and got into the pasture. Once it got into the pasture, the creature couldn't catch it. And at that point, the rancher is coming out the door with the 30-30, and he's sending lead down range, and the creature ran off back into the swamp. So they called the town, they called the police, and this again, this is a small town. This is like Mayberry, just two sheriffs, a sheriff and a deputy, and they came out And they took the report, and it was like, you have to start picking up the patrols around here, yada, yada, yada. We're on the outskirts, and, these creatures is coming out. And then the next morning, the Native American came. He went out to the pasture and got the horse. And when he brought it back to the corral, and we were all there, and and the horse had handprints in its hindquarters, not claw marks, like handprints. If I was to grab you around your wrist and squeeze real hard. And so that's where the Native American said the creature must have grabbed it from behind, and then the horse kicked out. So, that was pretty wild. And so then, the rodeo comes to town. We go to the rodeo like everybody else in town, and I'm talking to the cowboys who are riding the bulls, and I'm asking them, how come you don't have any bulls like the fighting bulls like they have in Spain, and he's like, no, we don't ride those kind of bulls. He says, we have all these other bulls, and they start talking about the Brahma bulls, how ornery they were and everything like that. You don't want to draw a Brahma bull; they're really ornery. And the cattle rancher up the street from us had a big white Brahma bull with a hump in its back. This thing was the size of a minivan. It was a monster. And I know how big it was because I seen him up close and personal, because I used to jog the Sunshine Acres development. Was a square, but it was 2 miles square. And I used to jog it every day. And one particular day, as I was jogging, some lady was coming home up the street, and she opened up her automatic gate, and she had like a St. Bernard, and the dog came out after me. And again, down in Florida, it's not like trees like there are here in New York that you can get up. You know what I mean? Trees down there don't have any branches, So I'm running for my life. The St. Bernard is chasing me. But the cattle ranch's fence was only like 4-foot fence. So I did a tuck and roll and jumped over the fence into the pasture. And when I came up on the other side of the pasture, the Brahma bull came over to look at me to see what the hell I was doing in the pasture. And as he was looking at me, I'm looking at this bull that's like, oh my God, it's like a beast. And the St. Bernard hits the fence, and he starts barking. And now the Brahma bull is focused on the St. Bernard. And I'm using the cows as a shield to get out the front gate. You know what I mean? And so I know how big this Brahma bull was. So then a couple of weeks go by, and it's been pretty quiet. My sister and my brother-in-law had friends come down from New York to visit, and they took them out on a night on the town. They went down to Miami for dinner and dancing, and they got home. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and they pulled into the driveway. Of course, the dogs run to the door. We go out we're all standing in the middle of the driveway, and we're talking, and my brother-in-law's like, any action tonight? And we're like, nope, not very quiet night. And no sooner did he say that, we heard a double barrel shotgun go off. One barrel, boom, then the other. And we heard a blood curdling scream. Something like you've never heard in your life. Send chills down your back. And my sister grabbed the dogs and ran in the house. She was deathly afraid. And my brother said, jump in the car. Let's go see what happened. And so my cousin Anthony jumps in the car. He was 15. He was older than me, so he got the front seat. I jumped in the back. I had my brother-in-law open up the sunroof. He had just gotten a brand new Lincoln Continental, like a Mark IV or something. And I'm hanging out the sunroof, and we're headed towards the cattle rancher's house. And just as we get to the corner, the deputy is passing us on patrol, and he's doing like 2 miles an hour, and we're stuck behind him. And he's got his spotlight looking to the left, because that's where the swamp was. And we can see another car at the far end of the development going real slow too. Just assumed it was a sheriff. And as everybody's looking to the left, the creature runs out from the darkness on the right side, and the deputy hits him. When the deputy hits this car stopped dead like it hit a oak tree. Creature goes down, takes down the school bus sign that's supposed to be unbendable for like 250-mile-an-hour winds, hurricane winds. Well, he pancaked the sign. He bent it right in half. And So now the creature gets back up and it's limping up in front of it's limping in front of us. My brother-in-law hits it with the high beams. I'm hanging out of the sunroof, and it's like everything is happening in slow motion. It's like surreal. And you can see the deputy in his car, his silhouette holding onto the steering wheel, and the creature limps over to his car and it's pissed and it looks
Yeah, I
down
bet
at
it's
him
pissed.
and it screams at him.
Oh man.
And then it does a hammer punch and it hits the front of this car so hard the back of the car comes off the ground.
Wow.
And then it limps off into the swamp. At this point, the sheriff is coming down. He sees the police car totaled in the middle of the road. He puts his lights on. He comes down. He's like, "What happened?" The deputy gives his report. He says, "Why didn't you shoot it?" Because back then they used to have the shotgun between the passenger and the driver. They're not in the trunk like they are now. And he just looked at the sheriff and said the shotgun wasn't big enough. He said it wasn't big
Yeah,
enough.
bird shot for Bigfoot. I don't think it's going to have the necessarily intended effect. All it's going to do is piss him off.
Piss him off, yeah. And at this point, the sheriff has taken our report because we were the only witnesses to see what happened. And the cattle rancher comes racing up in his pickup truck and he says to the sheriff, "You got to come back to my ranch. You got to see what that damn thing did to my prize bull." And I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute. What could this thing have done to that bull? The bull was a beast. You know what I mean? When I say this Brahma bull was the size of a minivan, it was a monster. Had to weigh like 2,500 pounds,
Oh my God.
And we followed the sheriff back to the
That bull,
cattle
that bull,
ranches.
that bull actually might be my brother.
And we followed him to the sheriff, the cattle rancher's house, farm ranch, and the sheriff is panning the pasture with the spotlight, and there in the middle of the pasture is this white Brahma bull bleeding out with no head.
Oh wow.
The creature just ripped its head right off
Wow,
its body,
decapitated the 2,500
and
pound bull.
and then he's panning some more, and you could see like 100 yards away, he just threw the head just threw it away like it was garbage. And everybody just surmised that the creature was probably trying to get a calf or something, and the bull was coming to defend the cows.
I mean, the amount
And
of strength it's remarkable, really. I mean, for those creatures, I mean, the strength is ridiculous. They're superhuman, superpower.
the strength is absolutely unbelievable, insane, just insane. And so then the sheriff called in the state police and the county police, and they came in with helicopters and dogs and horses, and they searched the swamps high and low, but they never found anything. They never was able to find it, and
Hey,
it was
Al,
pretty.
do you think a creature has ever, do you believe a creature has ever been captured or killed? Do you believe that's happened?
Oh, absolutely, yes, without a doubt, yeah. I
Have you
think
ever
they have.
seen Have you ever seen concrete evidence of a captured or a killed creature?
No, I have never seen concrete evidence, but there's no doubt in my mind. The government knows what these things are, and I'm sure they've captured them for DNA purposes. I know there are teams all over the United States that are meant to go out and take care of nuisance animals. If you have one running amok, I've heard of a story of one, I think it was in Washington State, where they had just built this new park along this lake, this mountain lake, and this one Bigfoot was coming in every night. It was a 12-footer. It was coming in every night and just ripping everything up because he didn't want anybody coming to the lake. It was like that's where he fished. And they had set up a park there. And eventually, it was costing the Fed so much money that they sent in a hit team, and they came in. This hit team came in, and it wasn't a relocation kind of thing. It was, let's just get rid of this nuisance animal once and for all. And it was a big alpha. They said it was about 12 feet tall, and they took it out with a Huey after they killed it. So Anyway, I mean, I know there's a federal law that says if you kill one of these things, it's 10 years in jail and a $10,000 fine. It's non-negotiable. So, yeah, I wouldn't try to kill any of them. I wouldn't. But if the feds put the hit on them, it's okay, So, but I know people have killed them. Over the years, and I believe, if I remember correctly, the way the story goes, it was President Roosevelt's went out hunting in the Pacific Northwest, and his guide killed one when they were out hunting. They shot one and killed it.
Have you ever
So
been out to the Pacific Northwest, Al? I mean, you're in New York, right? So you had the incident there in Florida, and
yeah.
you're in New York. But have you ever expanded your search? I mean, would you like to expand the whole country and continue to kind of express your passion for this creature?
To be honest with you, would I love to go out there? Of course, I would love to go out there, but is it necessarily? No, it's not, because the way they behave here, they behave all over the country. I have friends who have gone to, Alabama, Colorado, New Mexico, Florida, and the one thing that he took from all of his trips all over the country was no matter where he went, they all acted the same. So, there's
Well, it's not. It
really,
has nothing to do with geography, then. I mean, a Bigfoot's a Bigfoot, whether it's in Montana or
yeah, but
Florida.
I mean, they're bigger in the Pacific Northwest. I think because of the all the rain you guys get out there and stuff like that. If you was to look at the Pacific Northwest and the Northeast on Google Maps, I mean Google Earth, you would see that it's basically looks exactly the same with the mountains and the forest and everything else. The only difference is you guys get more rain, we get more snow. But so I believe
And
the
thanks, Al.
biggest.
Things are definitely bigger out here in the Pacific Northwest. I'm
Hey,
going to start blaming rain for all this. I'm going to start blaming the rain. Thanks, Al. Appreciate that. It's all the rain.
Yes.
oh,
Why are you
man.
so fat? It's the rain. That's it.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I put on
No,
a few
because
pounds.
Millie Vanilli did say you got to blame it on the rain.
Right. I put on a few
No.
pounds. It's a squall. Hey, let's move into another little area, an offshoot of the dog. Let's talk about the dog man. For those that aren't familiar with Dogman, Alfred, tell us a little bit about what the Dogman is.
The dog man is your typical werewolf looking creature. It's not a werewolf. It's not a man who turns into a dog, into a wolf. It's a flesh and blood creature that has
Oh,
the head of a
Al, is the dog? Do you feel like the dog man is genetically engineered? Because I've heard some people have a theory that the government was engineering the dog man to be fighters and replace soldiers and deploy them instead. What do you feel about that? Are they engineered or are they just a mutant?
No, I don't think they were engineered. I think they've been on this planet since the beginning of time. Alexander the Great talks about dogmen warriors. You have Anubis from the Egyptian time. I think they've always been here. Um, I don't know if they were genetically engineered by aliens at some point in time. I don't that. I have no clue. But I believe, at least what I was told by every world-renowned psychic that I know, that I've ever met, at every symposium that I've ever gone to, I have one question and one question only. Where are these things and where do they come from? And every single psychic, and these are world-renowned psychics, all told me the same thing. They're interdimensional. They come from a different dimension, a
And that
different
makes a lot
realm.
of sense with Bigfoot being interdimensional. Like I mean, they can keep out of sight because they're not traveling in spaces that we can see.
No, absolutely not.
And
Yeah, I
so
mean,
if
so
they're just interdimensional, I mean, no wonder we're never going to find them at that point.
well, I think eventually, as we advance as a race, we will be able to travel in and out of these dimensions as well, like the Stargate kind of thing. But for now, no, we can't follow them where they go. And I believe that's the reason why they've never found any dead ones or any bones or anything like that. I believe whether it be Bigfoot or Dogman, they take them when they die, or if they're killed here, the ones that are left behind take them back to their realm and you know
You feel
do
like
whatever they do with them.
you feel like the Dogman creature would be considered a predator?
I think they're both apex predators. Absolutely, sure.
Mm.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I gotta admit a certain amount of ignorance about a lot of things, but about dogmen in particular, because you always hear about Sasquatch, you hear about ufology in that area. It seems like the dogman is more of a burgeoning, upcoming sort of thing that's finally getting the attention it kind of deserves. I mean, for something that's been around since the dawn of time, how come it has not? How come it hasn't captured, the zeitgeist yet?
Or maybe if I can jump in here real quick with an opinion of my own, the bald guy.
Yeah.
Maybe nowadays with technology and people have the ability to share in 2 seconds from their phone. Maybe they've always been around. Maybe the information now is just more readily available.
Very true. Yeah.
Because everyone's
And
got a
plus,
phone.
you gotta understand one thing about human nature. What we don't know or we don't understand scares the living crap out of us. So we keep it to ourselves because we don't want to be considered a crazy person. I seen a werewolf, in the cornfield the other night. Uh-oh, so and so is, losing their mind, yada yada yada.
Yeah,
And
with
that's
someone
how,
smoking a little bit of that green stuff in that cornfield is what people would think.
yeah, I
Because you're
mean,
right. If you say anything that someone just can't, come to terms with and they don't believe it, you're just going to be crazy. You're going to be dismissed.
you're going to be dismissed. You're going to be labeled a crazy person. And like I said, things that we're not familiar with scares the living crap out of us. And people who see these things are so scared
Is there
that they
anything?
don't.
Is there still anything that scares the crap out of you, Al?
My wife.
I think the bald guy would agree with you on that one.
I can neither confirm nor deny it.
No, I mean, I've learned from a really early age. Plus, my psychic, she really instilled it in me that you don't go out with any kind of subconscious fear. And when you do come across these things, whether it's a rake, a dog man, a Wendigo, a skinwalker, a Bigfoot, whatever you come across, you cannot show fear because it'll feed off that fear, and then you're done. You just have to stand your ground and just try to work
Well,
work.
I feel like that's easier said than done. You have like a
Well, yeah,
9 foot Bigfoot or a dog man like all up in your grill, Al. I'm not just going to be looking to chill. Okay, I'm going to have poop running down my thighs. I'm going to be peeing all over myself. It's going to be an ugly situation in about 4 seconds.
yeah, I mean, everybody handles it differently. I've been doing this a long time, and the last time my cousin and I went out watching. We had. I sent you the Dogman recordings. We caught a dogman screaming at us, and we had a dogman follow us out of the woods, and he screamed at us. Um, and he screamed so loud that the scream went through my
Are
cousin
you
who was
again?
standing behind me, and then through
You're hearing
me.
all these
And
coyotes
my
starting to
cousin
howl
was like,
a bit loud.
what do we do? And I says, we just
Fucking
do
hell.
what we do. We're marching out of here anyway. We're just going to march out of here at our own pace. And we're not going to let this thing, scare us out of here or make us run. Last thing you want to do is run. You don't want to trigger anything's prey drive. You know what I mean? So if you don't run, and
Oh,
I've been
shit.
bluff charged by a dog man, and we didn't run. We stood our ground. We pulled out our machetes and we stood our ground, and it stopped. And Now, I'm not saying that that thing couldn't have killed all three of us in a matter of minutes. It probably could have, but here we were, three guys set up in a triangle formation with 18-inch machetes, and I believe that these creatures know that these machetes are. I think they fear more the long blade than they do the gun, because they've seen how long blades kind of damages long blades have done over the years, where they've been able to take a limb off or take a head off or slice one of these creatures open, depending on who's using it. And I think they fear that kind of an injury more than just a bullet in the chest, where they can take a good, a solid round, because they're so big and they're so muscular. So, yeah, I
And
mean,
you feel like the dog man or the Sasquatch, the Bigfoot. You feel like they are friends amongst other members of different species, or are they just exclusively territorial, keep to themselves?
I don't think that they're friends.
Like, you think Bigfoot would hang out with a grizzly bear simply because they have a similar size?
No, I think that whatchamacallit, you would have two apex predators establishing their own territory, and there would probably be some kind of battle there, because now you're fighting for your territory and your food source and your livelihood. And I think that's what would happen.
Right.
And I believe that's
Primacy,
basically,
huh? Oh, just primacy. If you got two apex, two A types, you're gonna be going.
yeah.
But
I think it works the same way for the dogmen, and I think they respect each other's ability to kill one another, and I think they don't try to be at the same location at the same time,
Hey,
even
Al,
if
you ever
their
run into
territories.
anything? I'm sorry, it just popped in my mind. And I'm curious about this. When you're out there squatching, completely unsquatch related, but have you ever ran into anything that you weren't even there looking for, you weren't expecting, that you're like, holy shit?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time we run into shit. One time we ran into a Wendigo, we ran into a skinwalker, we ran into a rake, we ran into a dog man, and they were all up on a western ridge watching us. We were in a sacred site. I had gone to the sacred site and bound it and sealed it. And the psychic said, long as we stayed in the sacred site, we were safe. Then there was another time after that where we were at the sacred site, and we had which my psychic claimed was an alien behind us who was in that shimmering state, and it threw two rocks at me. And the first rock hit me in the back of the head, but I was wearing a metal brace in the back for my headlamp. So it didn't actually hit me, hit the metal brace, and it dented the metal brace. And when we turned around to see what we were looking, because the psychic said it was only like 90 feet behind us. And we were looking for that shimmer, but we couldn't see it. But as we were looking for the shimmer, we seen another rock come flying in at us and bounced off the metal chair that I used, my hunting chair. And then another time, well, it was the same time as that, we seen what my psychic claimed. She called it a bear squatch. She said it had the head of a bear, but the body of a Sasquatch, and it was from a different realm, and it didn't know what humans were, and it was dangerous to stay away from it. Well, we're sitting up there, all night long. Yeah, I like to do day night, so it's been like 12 hours. And I got glow sticks set up all around me. And all of a sudden I noticed that the yellow glow stick in front of me has multiplied into 3 yellow glow sticks. And so I reach over to my cousin Sean and I was like, tell me what you see in front of me. And he says, I see 3 yellow glow sticks. I was like, okay. But there was only one in the pack. The color pack only had one of each color. And he goes, oh shit, yeah, that's right. He goes, what is it? So, I don't know. Let's go take a look. So we got up and we started walking towards these yellow glow sticks. We got about 50 feet away from base camp when 2 of the yellow glow sticks blinked. So I stopped Sean. I said, okay, stop right in here. put your headlamps on, put them on flood. Let's get as much light as we can over there. Get your machete out because I don't know what we're dealing with. And when we put the headlamps on flood, this creature that was sitting next to the yellow glow stick squatting stood up, and it went up and up and up, and it had to be 10 feet tall,
Oh, man.
2,000 pounds. It
Oh,
was
my
a
goodness.
monster.
Oh.
And we looked at it, and
Did we get
I
a good
think,
look at their eyes? Are their eyes just normal eyes? Are they red or are they distinctive?
oh no, this thing had normal eyes. It didn't have red eyes. Um, but I think we freaked it out because it didn't know what humans were. And here we are walking towards it, and we had the headlamps on. So we looked like, we had three eyes, and I think we freaked.
So you freaked it out.
Yeah, I think we freaked because it turned and it ran up the north, up the ridge, and jumped over a wall, what's at the end of the ridge. And I thought when it jumped over the wall, it took trees down on the other side. But when we went back the last time, it actually had when it jumped over the wall, it took the top of the wall down. And this wall is like 4 feet high and 3 feet thick, and it's been there for hundreds of years. And all the stones are pushed the other way. So, but when we were leaving that night, it came back and it threw a stone at us from on top of the western ridge, off of the Appalachian Trail, that landed in the lake to the left of me. It's like a 52-acre lake, and when the stone hit the water, the splash went up about 20 feet. And we turned around and we looked at the splash, and then we looked up the hill because we happened to be right in a section of the woods where there was a burn a couple of years ago. So there were no trees, but there were big rock outcroppings. And I'm thinking the rock that this thing threw at us must have been like a 400-pound rock or something. And because of the way the splash went up so high. And my cousin turned to me and his eyes were as big as saucers. And he was like, "What's that?" I said, "Don't worry about it. We just have really big beavers up here." I told him because he was from the city. And when we got back to the car, which was like 4 miles away, he said that was a beaver, and I said, "No, not really." But I didn't want you freaking out on the trail. And he goes, "I didn't think it was a beaver." I said, "No, it wasn't a beaver." I said, "I think the bear squatch came back, and it was mad, and it threw a rock at us, and that was a rock that went over our heads and into the water. I think it just wanted us out of there. And yeah, this thing was humongous. To me, it looked more like a gugway than a bear squatch, but the psychic called it a bear squatch, and she said it was from a different realm. And
Explain the difference. Explain the difference between bear squatch and
a gugway.
yeah.
Well, a bear squatch is a creature that's got the body of a Sasquatch, but a head of a bear, like a grizzly bear. You know what I mean? And a gugway has more of a monkeyish kind of face with a shorter snout, almost like not baboonish because the snout's not short, maybe gorilla-ish. Um, it's but it's as big as a Sasquatch. It's got the body of a Sasquatch, but the head of an ape. Not like an ape, like a Sasquatch, different than a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
But it's just the Native Americans call it gugway because they say that these creatures, when they kill you, they eat your face. Gugway means face eater.
Mm.
So yeah, so
Do you feel because there's these subtle differences between the species, right? Bear squatch, with the bear, more bearish look, and then the gugway, they said with more of a primate features. Do you think that they are due to like interbreeding, maybe, or I mean, or
Yeah, do they stick with their own dude, or will Sasquatch, will Bigfoot, basically take what's in front of them?
I don't have the answer to that question. I
Can't
don't
answer
have
the interspecies.
one in my garage that I'm watching right now, So I couldn't answer that question. I mean, if I was to answer that question, it's all theory and conjecture. So
And when you're squatching, I imagine you have to be in some really good shape because you talk about being out there 12 hours, right? Getting
yeah.
out there in the forest, in the deep forest, hiking. I mean, you really got to be in some good shape to really be a squatcher.
To be a good walker. Yeah, you have to be a good walker because we're going in minimum of 4 miles, and the last mile is off trail, straight up a mountain. So, um,
Are
and the
there
trail
rules?
gets,
Do you guys bring like, I mean, obviously you need water and food, but are there like things you won't bring because maybe that might not be such a good thing to bring?
I try to break any equipment that I plan on using that particular night, depending on what I feel like doing.
I mean, there are
Some
food items that are really smelly that maybe that scent's a little bit too strong that you don't not sure what you might be attracting. That does that go into
well,
your decision making process?
because I do day night. If I'm gonna bring like a sandwich, I'm gonna eat it early in the day, like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm not going to have that with me at night when the nocturnal animals are coming out and they're foraging. At night, I try to stick with just power bars and
You feel
stuff
like
like that.
Bigfoot is
Water.
a nocturnal animal? Is our Dogman and Bigfoot nocturnal?
I believe yeah, I think they do more roaming around at night. It's easier to stay hidden than they do during the day. I think, of course, hunger will drive them to be out during the day if they're looking for food. But most of the time, I think, if you run across a Bigfoot or a Dogman during the day, it's because it's by accident. They're maybe it's a sentry keep an eye out while the clan is sleeping. And I think they do most of their hunting at night. I think they're more active at
Well,
night.
that's a good question. What do you feel like they eat? What do you think they survive on? Are they eating a lot of shrubs or bushes or fish, other animals? What do you think the main menu is for a Bigfoot?
I think they eat
Anything
everything.
in front of them?
I think what's ever not anything, because the ones up here won't eat like oranges and bananas, and the ones down in Florida, I've heard won't eat apples or pears. So whatever grows naturally in that part of the country that they're in, I think like in the fall they're foraging for a lot of nuts that fall off the trees. There's a lot, and they're up here. We have a lot of apple trees up here in New York, so they're up here eating the apples during the summer. Again, they're in the creeks fishing, eating snails and fish and turtles and frogs. They'll eat geese, whatever they can get their hands on. They'll eat plants as well. There, certain plants that they use for food, certain plants they use for municipal services and stuff like that.
Do you think
So
they know
they'll
how to
eat.
care for themselves, Al, when they're not feeling well? Do you think they instinctively know that something's not
Yes,
right with their health and they will care for themselves?
yes, I think they're absolutely. I
Like they
think
have that survival instinct?
yes, I think they're smarter than we are. I think they've been around longer. I think they know what when they're not feeling well, depending on what they're feeling, what roots to eat or what plants to eat to make them
You do not
better.
want to run into a Bigfoot who's got a bad tooth. That is not
No,
going to be a good meeting. Or a dog
that's
man.
why that's why I
Oof.
tell people who leave them sweets, don't
Don't
leave
do.
them
Yeah.
sweets.
Yeah. You don't
Then
want to
that's
leave them
not
sweet.
something natural because if I go up there and I run into one with a toothache, that
Oh,
could be the end of me. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Leave them vegetables and fruits, stuff that they can find in nature. Don't leave them uh sweets. It's just people like to leave them sweets, and it's just I don't think it's good for them. Not that they don't like it. Like we love our sugar, they love it too. But I would never give them meat If you give them meat, they will follow you home and demand meat all the time. So I never give them meat. I'm more of a trinket guy. I give them trinkets and squeaky toys and balls that light up, stuff that they can play with that amuses them. I don't
Then
leave
there used to be
food.
a reward for the proof. Is that reward still available for the actual proof of a Bigfoot existence? Because I think I remember a long time ago there was a substantial reward if someone could deliver on
Yeah, I
proving
think there was
Bigfoot.
like $1 million reward.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
I think it came out of Oklahoma or something like that. Yeah, I think it's
It's
still.
all
I
you,
think
Al.
it's
You got to do it. You got to bring it home. Go get them.
no. I'm not there to kill anything.
Well,
I'm
no,
not
don't kill
there.
them. Just capture them. Hang out with them.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty
You
hard
got
to
a
capture
garage? You just
something
move them in
that
your
could
garage.
pick up a 400-pound stone and throw it at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But no,
man.
I mean, like I said, I always tell people if you insist on bringing food, then bring them stuff that they can find in nature during that time of the year. It just, to me, it just makes common sense.
Yeah, that is smart.
So, if you're like watching this, or you're like I guess what you'd call an enthusiast, right? Not a researcher, just a layman sort of whatever. What advice would you give them to those who are like, well, I'm gonna go up into the forest and hang out, and see if I can see a Bigfoot? What advice do you got for them?
I would say I said first of all, you're never going to find them. That's number one. Number two, go in with good intentions because they know whether you have good intentions or not. Number three, find a location that's squatchy. Look for all the signs, the arches, the X, the bends, the breaks, the twists. Hunker down there and just hunker down there. And if they're in the area, they will find you. And
Well,
that's how.
should you take a weapon out? I mean, you got to defend yourself. You got to protect yourself. If you're, do you take a weapon?
I don't take any firearms with me because I don't trust anybody other than myself with one. But I'll take an 18-inch machete, a 10-inch survival knife, bear spray, stuff like that, because I'm not worried about them themselves attacking me. I'm more worried about mountain lions and black bears and wolves and stuff like that.
And
All
other,
of those, all of those animals are back now in New York State. So
yeah,
yeah,
I think the most I'd be worried about is other humans.
Yeah.
yeah, other humans are. I mean, it's very unlikely I'm going to run into another human where I'm going, but I mean, in the case I do, I want to be able to defend myself against somebody. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
More
man.
than anything else. Yeah.
Uh, Take us into the realm of ufology. Uh, everyone has their preconceived notions. I mean, we've all seen, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, or ET, or any of the Hollywood versions, right? Take us,
The X Files.
yeah, take us about your experiences in ufology.
My experiences are just,
Yeah,
sightings. Like I sent you a video
yes.
of a UFO that I captured off of my front deck, came back 4 weeks in a row. And the first 2 weeks, I filmed it with my phone. And then the third week it came back. I had all my gear set up. I had my a full spectrum, my the infrared. I had my thermal, and I had my regular camera going, and I was filming in four different spectrums of light. And to my amazement, which really blew my mind, was the one spectrum of light that the UFO didn't show up in was thermal. I don't know what uh, energy they're using to run the craft, but it wasn't giving off any heat. It was invisible in thermal, but it was clear as day in IR or UV, and even in regular, a spectrum of light, you can see it. So it was very, very weird. But one video I sent you a still shot of what it looked like, and I sent you a video. And the video I sent you, I was going to work 4:30 in the morning, and I see the crafts at night between 7 and 8 o'clock at night. Um, But one morning I was going to work 4:30 in the morning, and I opened the door and I look up and it's there. And I'm tired. It's 4:30 in the morning. And I was just like, I got no time for you, man. I'm too tired for this nonsense, you know?
Yeah.
And because I had already filmed it like 4 different times, how many times are you going to film the same thing? And I started to walk down the walkway, and the little voice inside my head, whoever that is, my guardian angel, or my spirit guide, or whoever, said to me, "Stop, film this. This is important." So I stopped. I pulled out my camera and I started filming. And then the voice said, "Ask it to acknowledge you. If it sees you, to acknowledge you, but ask it telepathically." So I asked it telepathically, "If you see me, acknowledge me." And the thing flashed. Now, originally, looking at it at 4:30 in the morning, half asleep, it looked just like a flash to me. But when I rewind the video and watched it again, the craft actually expanded like 10 times its normal size and then shrunk back down. So after I seen that, I was bouncing off the charts. My adrenaline had gone through the roof, and I couldn't get to work fast enough to tell my partner and show my partner, like, "Dude, look what I just captured in front of my house this morning." That's something I've been doing a lot lately. If, when I'm doing investigations, I'm asking questions telepathically, and the thread that binds all of this stuff together is the spirits can hear your telepathic thoughts. The aliens can hear your telepathic, and so can the cryptids can hear your telepathic thoughts. So
Makes sense.
that's one of my aha moments, like, wow, all of these things can hear your thoughts. If you ask a question telepathically, it can hear you no matter what you're dealing with, and that was an aha moment for me. Yeah. And like, it's just sighting. I've seen all kinds of crafts. I've seen triangles. I've seen uh diamonds. I've seen stadium lights, points of light in the sky. I've seen things that were shooting out the most beautifulest colors, like you couldn't, the most purest colors. You can't even make these colors up. Like, remember looking at this thing. I pulled over on a parkway one night. It was an old ski resort. So it was a huge parking lot. I pulled into the ski resort, and I'm looking up at this craft in the sky, and the sky was a black ink sky, but the colors that were coming out of it looked like a colored sparkler going off. But the colors were so pure. I never seen colors that pure before. Even the dark colors, like the purples and the blues, you could see against the black ink sky, which didn't make any sense to me. And then the thought crossed my mind, I'm in a pretty big parking lot. This thing could come down and land. Maybe I should get out of here. Um, so I did a time check when I first pulled in, and I did a time check when I got home, and everything worked out. There was no missing time that night. But I've seen so many different crafts. There was a craft one night that was parked over a strip mall. They was building a strip mall off the parkway, and it was this triangle shaped craft with a beam of light coming down out of it, and it was raining cats and dogs. And there was a lot of traffic on the parkway, and I was thinking, am I the only person seeing this? Because I was expecting everybody to start pulling over to look at this thing, but everybody was just like focused straight ahead and like going home driving in the rain because there was a lot of mist and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't go home. I turned around and went back, and I pulled into the parking lot where this thing was, and the fog was as high as my car. And I was going to get out because I was carrying a camera with me at the time, and I was going to get out and get a picture of this craft with this beam of light coming down. I thought it was sucking the electricity out of the strip mall. And when I got out of the car, I got a really, really bad vibe. Like, don't get out of this car, man. There's stuff on the ground that you can't see because the fog was so high. And I got out of the car anyway. And I started to walk over, and then my gut said, "Dude, go back in that car. And I went back in the car and I shut the door and I locked the door. And the camera wouldn't work. I couldn't get a goddamn picture of the thing. But I went back. That was like a Friday night. I went back on a Sunday, and the strip mall actually had a catch basin to catch the water that ran out of the parking lot. They had the parking lot pitched so that there wouldn't be any giant puddles in the parking lot. It would all go into the catch basin. Well, when I went back Sunday to take pictures, the catch basin, the grass around it was all burnt, and the dirt in the mud was all dried up, like something had dried it up. Meanwhile, there was a stream right in front of it that was running so hard that you could have surfed down the stream, you know. And I took pictures of I got up on a telephone pole and I took pictures of this giant burn mark and the dried up dirt, the mud that was in there should have been a ton of water still left in this catch basin, but the water was all gone. And I think that craft was actually siphoning up the water, but I didn't see any steam or mist going up into the sky.
Yeah.
And I sent them to my brother because he was a MUFON investigator at the time out in Michigan. And he looked at him and he was like, wow, this is insane. He goes, this is absolutely insane that this catch basin is bone dry. It looked like the dirt was bone dry, and the grass that was just drenched in torrential downpour was burnt.
Dang,
Just
that's-
crazy.
Hey, what do you make of crop circles? Have you run across any? And
No, I've never run across a crop circle. No, but I believe that they're made by a life form. You know, when people see those orbs running, you know, like rolling through the woods or whatever, I don't think they're actually UFOs coming down making them. I think they're these balls of light. I think these balls of light, wherever they come from, whoever they are, who's ever operating, I think these balls of light are making them. And I think there's like,
Well, I mean, our energy, I mean, as human beings, I mean, we're just a ball of light.
right.
I mean, we're just energy. So everything in the
Yes.
universe is ultimately it's just energy.
Yeah, without a doubt. Absolutely. But if you've ever
And I think
seen
I think we're so arrogant as people sometimes we get caught in if we don't understand it and if we don't believe it and we can't explain it, it can't be real.
oh, absolutely. I
You know,
agree
like
100%.
like UFOs, like different species. And by the way, people, if you're watching this Anarchy Radio program right now, we got Alfred on, the Squatchfather, talking everything paranormal. But there are so many species in the bottom of the ocean of fish that have yet to be discovered. You know, just because we're not there yet, just because we haven't found them yet, doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Absolutely.
You gotta leave your mind open to possibilities.
right.
Yeah, so you have to have an open mind. Absolutely. Yeah. I think if you go into any of these paranormal fields, whichever one you choose to go in with a closed mind, you're only going to get so far and you're never going to advance to the next level. You know, you have to have an open mind and you have to be open to all kinds of, explanations and discussions on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, as far as like UFOs are concerned, I've always thought that a good portion of sightings could be our own government doing black. Because when they came out with the stealth fighter, the general rule is the government is 3 generations ahead of everything. How much do you think when people look up at the sky and they see something, how much or how prevalent is it that they're looking and they're seeing something the government is either testing out or whatever?
Well, I'd say it's probably 50-50. You know what I mean? When I see stuff in the sky, I get a certain vibe. Like that little voice will say, "Stop, pay attention to this." Then I know it's extraterrestrial.
Gotcha.
If that little voice doesn't say, "Stop, pay attention to this," then it's probably man-made, and I just ignore it and just go on with my travels. So that's how I do it. I get a feeling, and or I hear a voice, and And that's how I distinguish one from the other.
Awesome. Hey, one of the last questions before we let you go is, and this is one personally I want to know is, what is on the Squatchfather's bucket list? Like, after all the years that you've been doing this, what is the holy grails that you still want to achieve?
Yeah, you know what? I really don't have a bucket list. I mean, I just take it one day at a time, one
Hey, can I talk to you
investigation
about
at a
my
time.
bucket list, Alfred? You're gonna think I'm
Go ahead.
ridiculous, and it'll probably never happen. But for some reason, I want to pet a bear right on his head. I do,
Good
and
luck
it'll
with
probably
that.
never happen because I'm not fucking insane. But I do. I want to go up to a bear, and I just want to say, "What's up, buddy?" And I just want to pet his little head. Think I'm
Good luck
insane?
with that. No,
Yeah,
I don't
right.
think you'd say no, because I had a bear come to my back door just last week. As a matter of fact, I videotaped it, and he was looking in at me, and he had the saddest eyes.
Oh,
And I swear to God, it just wanted to open the door and pet him and give him a couple of hot dogs and send him on his way. But I know if I did that, he'd never leave. So I just wait, because his paws were humongous, and he'd
Are we
probably
talking
take down.
black bear or grizzly bear?
No, black bear. We don't have grizzly
Okay.
bears in the
Okay.
Northeast now. Yeah. But I mean, his paws were humongous. And I figured if I fed him, he would probably just lean up against my sliding glass door and take the whole door down. So, but he had the saddest eyes. I said, oh my God, he was so cute. And he was so sad looking that I just wanted to feed him like a handful of hot dogs that I had in the refrigerator. But I was like, no, I can't do this because he'll never leave.
name him Boo Boo, and then put him in the garage. Send him to
Yeah, I actually put a video on Facebook. I said we got a new dog. His name is Yogi.
nice.
Every time I think about bears, I can't help but think of the movie The Great Outdoors.
All right,
Oh, the Great Outdoors,
John
great
Candy,
movie.
Big Bear,
Great movie.
Big Bear Chase,
that's right.
Great movie. Great
Cocaine Bear.
movie.
Did you see that, Alfred?
Yeah, absolutely.
You saw the newest movie, The Cocaine Bear?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I expected more. I was looking forward to it, but it had its funny moments.
I don't have the patience for it. Just the title itself was like, nah, I got no time for this
See,
nonsense.
the
Yeah.
title is what sucked me right in.
Yeah,
You're talking about some angry bear already, mixing it up with some cocaine. What could possibly go wrong there?
Yeah, no, just kill a whole town full of people. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Nah.
Cocaine Bear. Martha, get in front of the TV. We got Cocaine Bear on. Oh my gosh. Okay, again, last question for you is, what is next for the Squatchfather? What's going on in Squatchfather's world?
Okay.
Clearly you reached the top right now. You're on Anarchy Radio, so it's all downhill from here, Alfred. But what is up next for the Squatchfather?
Working with a friend of mine, Chris Reinhardt from he's from Real American Monsters. He does his podcast on Doug Hychek's channel, and he's doing a documentary on all things cryptid and paranormal. He's a Bigfooter by trade, but we're gonna film a couple locations. We're gonna film at the Dogman Den. We're gonna film at the sacred site, and then we're gonna head to a haunted hotel, and we're gonna rent the hotel out for the night, and we're gonna film at this really, really creepy haunted hotel up here in the Catskill Mountains.
Have you been to the Stanley Hotel in Colorado?
No, never been to the
That
Stanley,
one's pretty notorious for. I think they did The Shining there, right, bald guy?
Yeah, they did The Shining there. Yeah.
Yep. Oh man. Hey, Alfred, it's been awesome to talk to you again. Whenever I talk to you, it's always fantastic interview, and it's not really an interview; it's just guys hanging out and yakking.
Just a conversation.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just guys having a conversation about weird things,
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right up our alley.
Oh yeah. Hey,
And the pleasure. Thank you for inviting me on. The pleasure's all mine. Absolutely.
Hey, do you have is there a central place where everyone could go and get all your information? Do you got any plugs you want to throw in?
Yeah, some shout outs here.
Yeah, you could find me at the Bronxville Paranormal Society on Facebook. That's where I usually hang out. I mean, I'm director of a whole bunch of different groups. The New York State Sasquatch Organization, the New York State UFO Project, the New York State Dogman Project, and I'm a regional director for Jody's Cook North American Dogman Project Region
Do you
3.
have a dog, Al? I mean, I know you're out there looking for dog man, but are you a dog man yourself?
I had a German Shepherd for 14 years and I had to put him down, and that was the hardest thing I ever had to do. So I don't have any more dogs now.
And we have a German Shepherd. He's fantastic. Alfred, thank you so much, man.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank
And
you,
we
gentlemen.
apologize for the technical difficulties tonight, Alfred, but we're going to get that all cleaned up and it'll be seamless.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
The magic.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So all the links and everything will be in the description below and also flashing on your screen as we speak now. Alfred, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Alfred.
Until next
Nice
time,
meeting
my
you,
friend.
Mark.
Appreciate you, man.
Later, Jason. Ciao.
Have a good night.
You too.
I don't know about you, Moggy, but that was an awesome interview with the Squatchfather. He's always a fun guest, and I look forward to having him on again and again and again.
Yeah, I've always been really, especially since doing the show, since we started that in 2012, paranormal has interested me, and the topics with Bigfoot and Dogman, of course, kind of a new phenomenon going on out there right now. And of course, UFOs. I mean, dude, I was a huge X-Files fan, so who doesn't want to believe? So yeah, Alfred was fantastic. I know you had previous encounter with him. And my first chance to get to talk to him, and I was thoroughly impressed, well-spoken, and the guy knows what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can believe him or not believe him, but the guy believes in, and he knows what he's talking about.
That's right. And hey, it's just a great conversation.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought tonight went pretty well. Everything is in the description down below, show links, all that fun stuff. So take a gander, go visit our Patreon page, give us some love so we can keep doing what we're doing here. I don't think we've even had anyone do the Patreon yet, dude. So
we'll do it. That was a good time then. If you haven't done the Patreon, do the Patreon.
That's right.
Because we're actually talking about some updated shirts for Anarchy Radio 2.0. And so you'll be the first to know if we do come up with updated merchandise opportunities for you. Subscribe, join the Patreon, and keep following us because you never know when a show might pop up.
Oh yeah, because we're gonna have all sorts of stuff. If you become an anarchist, you're gonna get subscriber only content. You can talk to us, say hey, hulu. Heck, you can even help us figure out guests, right? Who do you want to see?
Let us know. We'll talk to anyone. Tell us who you want us to talk to, and we'll talk to anyone.
And then
I spend a lot of time talking to myself, actually. So
do you answer back?
Sometimes.
There you go.
It only if necessary, though.
Yeah. Also, email us. Tell us what you think. Also, another thing subscribers get is you can give us questions to ask the guests. Like, hey, you're gonna have this guest on. Make sure you ask him this stuff, and we will do as you command. What do you think of that?
I like it. That's good.
Yeah. So email us. Give the phone number down below there somewhere. You leave us a voicemail. That way we can hear you. Maybe if you say something cool enough, we'll put it on the show. Why not? So
yeah, just you know what? That's a good idea, Ball Guy. Leave us a voicemail. You see the number, and let us know why you're excited about Anarchy Radio being back.
Right.
What has you excited about Moggy and the Bald Guy being back?
And what do you want to see? What do you want us to do? We are whores. We are dirty, dirty whores, and we will do whatever you want us to do. So tell us what's going on, dude. We'll do it.
Yes, please. Leave the voicemail.
Yeah. Well, Marco, again, it was a fun show.
Excellent. Number 2 back in the books.
Number deuce. We're taking a deuce, dude. Some people, do deuces on the toilet. We do deuces streaming.
Right, that's correct.
Yeah. So, what do you say we close this out, dude?
Sounds good to me, Bald Guy.
Awesome.
Everyone, thanks for watching. I'd like to appreciate you guys coming back for some more Anarchy Radio, and we will see you again soon. Stay tuned.